everybody, and welcome to Grade 4 Science. We're going to be learning about lots of different things this year. We're going to have modules on life processes, staying healthy, flowering plants, forces, the senses, and materials. But before we can learn about any of that, we have to think about how to be a scientist, because you are going to be scientists in grade 4. So, when I ask, what is a scientist? What do I mean? Scientists wonder how things work. They try and find out about the world around them. They do this through scientific inquiry. Scientific inquiry is a way of finding things out that goes through very specific steps. The first one is asking questions. A scientific investigation always starts with a question. Questions like, which materials are attracted to magnets? Or, what would happen if I did not give plants any water? Or, does the sense of hearing help me find out where things are? These are all scientific investigations that we are going to do this year, and they all start with a question. What comes next? Well, the next step in scientific inquiry is a prediction. A prediction is when you make a guess as to what you think is going to happen. Now, it's not any old guess. It's a thinking guess. You think about, what do I already know about this thing? And based on what I already know, what do I think is going to happen? So, if we take the question, what would happen if I did not give my plants any water? My prediction would be, I think that the plants that I do not give any water to will die. That is my prediction based on what I already know about plants. But I'm not finished yet. The next thing I have to do is plan my investigation. Planning an investigation is very important. All right? You have to make sure that your investigation is a fair investigation. That means that everything about your investigation must be the same except the thing that you are testing. You have to have the thing that you are testing, and you have to have something that you are not going to test. That will be called a control. So, let's say I'm going to plan my investigation to answer my question, what would happen if I did not give my plants any water? I would need 2 plants. These 2 plants have to be the same. They must be the same kind of plant. They must be the same size. They must have the same kind of soil. They must be kept in the same condition, so the temperature has to be the same for both plants. The amount of sunlight they get must be the same. Because the only thing I'm going to change is that I am going to give one plant water, and the other plant I will give no water. That is the thing I'm going to change, because that is the thing I'm going to test. This is very important. This is how the investigation is a fair investigation. All right? Now, at the beginning of grade 4, your teacher is going to tell you how to investigate. You're not going to need to plan just yet, but by the end of grade 4, you should be planning your own investigations, keeping these things in mind. Your investigation must be a fair one. Everything has to be the same except the one thing that you are testing. Are we done yet? Of course not. Here comes the next step. So, we are finally at the stage where we're actually doing the investigation. All right, so we have prepared our 2 plants, if this is the investigation that we're doing. So now we are watching carefully to see what happens. We're watching the plant that gets water, and we're watching the plant that does not get over. And we are making observations. What is happening to these plants? Is this plant growing? Is this plant growing? How much are they growing? What colour changes do you notice? Is this plant standing up straight and this plant wilting a bit? These are all things that you need to look for while you're investigating. No matter what investigation you're doing, while you're doing the investigation, you must observe carefully. Okay? Here comes the next step. Now, here comes a very important part of scientific inquiry, and one that a lot of you forget. Recording your results. You must write down everything that you are seeing. If you are doing an investigation with 2 plants and you're checking them every day, you have to write down what you're seeing, recording the results. Because if you are not writing down your observations, then you are not doing science. The difference between science and messing about is data. Writing things down. Information. If you are seeing which plant is growing more, you must measure it every day and write down how tall these plants are. If you are recording colour changes, you must write down every day what you see. And this is the same for any investigation that you do. Even if you've got a book of science at home and you've got science investigations to try, if you're not writing down what you see while you're doing them, then you're not doing science, you're just messing about. Very important to write things down, because without writing things down, you can't do the last step in your investigation. And that is looking at all of the information you have and figuring out what actually happened. That is how you answer the question that you asked at the beginning. There you have it, the scientific inquiry. You start by asking a question, then you predict what you think is going to happen. Next, you plan your investigation, make sure that it's a fair one. Then you make your observations, watch carefully while the investigation is going on. Next, super important, record your results. You need information. Then, make sense of your results, look at everything you've written down, so that then you can use that information to finally answer the question that you asked at the beginning. There you have it. That is how you can be a scientist. Isn't that fabulous? So, next time we're going to start on our first module. See you there.